Hey guys, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Katie and welcome to the Bookish adventure. So today we are doing my review for Children of Virtue and Vengeance by Tomi Adeyemi. So this is the sequel to Children of Blood and Bone, and at this point kind of seems like the end of the trilogy because who knows when the third book is coming out. Doesn't really seem like there is an end in sight. I apologise if my voice still sounds a little bit funny, but yeah, tonsillitis is a bitch. So you may have seen my reading vlog on this, and I was pretty close to finishing this book because of the delay of being ill for so long. I was closer to finish this than I would have been originally, and I just wanted to make a review anyway, just to kind of get everything fully straight now that I've hit the end, because there was one hell of an ending that I have thoughts on and issues on. So in the first book we follow Amari and Zelie and her brother, whose name has literally just left my head, so that's great, trying to bring back magic to a kingdom that was full of it, and lots of different ones, and it was something that I really loved, and you can see my review of that first book because my god, the world building and all of the mythology and the detail into all the different types of magics was just amazing. And Zelie comes from a line of reapers, and her mother was killed, and the only thing that marks her out is her white hair. And these people who did survive the raid and the onslaught, they're basically just oppressed. They're known as maggots. It's an awful life for them. They are constantly taxed. It is just awful. And then Amari, who is the royal princess, she finds a scroll. Well, I say finds, she steals a scroll from her father that has the ability to bring back magic, and she runs, and then just chance happens and they end up meeting, and she ends up going with Zelie and her brother to bring back magic, because touching the scroll is only a temporary fix. They have to get to a certain place at a certain time to bring it back. And so the first book follows their relationship and like their dynamics, because obviously Amari is out of her depth. She's with people who could just very well kill her because of everything that her father has done to her and her people. A lot of it is focused on her and Zelie's relationship and just kind of like going from to great. And then Amari's brother Anan is trying to track her down to get the scroll back, and then it's everything between Anan and Zelie. Cut to this book. This isn't really a spoiler because if you read the synopsis of this, it is very obvious that they managed to bring back magic, but there is a big however. They managed to bring back magic, but it's kind of not like backfired. Like, people do have their magic, however there is like a new breed of people with magic. So I think the idea is that it's people who had like magic within like their lineage, I guess. They kind of have this different kind of magic. Zelie and people like her, they use incantations to summon their magic, whereas this newer breed, they can literally just like, magic is there, magic is at their fingertips. So they're now kind of at a place where yes, all of the magi have their magic back, however there's this whole new breed of titans who now have magic. It's like the playing field is now just once again just not in their favor, and I kind of like the idea of this differentness. I think it helped the story because I think this book would have just been out and out bloodshed of just the magi just going in and that being it. So I did like this idea that there was this new type. I have to say, this book gets so many points on world building and on magic. It takes it to a new level, because obviously before we didn't have magic in the first book, not really, whereas this one, it is like its own character. We're seeing it used like in battle mode, in combat, and I really loved it. We get to see different types of magic because there's such a broad range of it, not just your bog standard air, water, fire, earth. There is so much more. So it is really fun to actually like see it in play, see it in use, see how they're going to use it like tactically to their advantage. That itself was so much fun, and it was really great to finally see them in their element, I guess. Where this book really suffers for me, and that has to be character arc, to be honest. I was forever, and I was saying this a lot in my vlog, I am team Amari. The girl, that princess, is just kicking ass like there is no tomorrow. She's really stepping up. She's still, you know, struggling internally with what her family's done, with her situation with her brother, everything. There is still like doubts and struggles that she has, however she's really coming into her own. And you know, again, she is just a target walking around with this magi. You know, anyone could take her out, anyone could be like, you know what, let's use her. But instead, you know, she's trying to take her bid for the throne, to be like, look, I'm now your queen. I want to build a better Orisha where magi and like regular people, we live together, we work together, you know, we can build homes, communities, like all of that sort of thing. However, her mother is kind of not on that vibe, and it's very weird because the end of the last book definitely kind of set up in a sense that Anan could be the new villain. However, a kind of reluctant villain, having to do bad things for the greater good. Like, he doesn't want to do it, but he wants peace. And unfortunately, they're heading to a point where civil war is inevitable, and it's a kind of, you're gonna have to slaughter people to get what you want. And initially he does everything he can to try and get to a point where he will sign peace treaties. He will do whatever. He will go behind his mother and the council's back to bring Orisha together in a way that is not going to elicit death. However, Zili being Zili, this is where the problems come in. She's changed so much from the first book. It is crazy, and I understand she goes through a lot in the first book. Like, she has so much trauma and everything. However, her character develops so much in that first book. She's literally like a different person, and I really didn't enjoy it. She just makes dumb decisions all the time, and it is very much like, now she is with her magi, now she's with her people. It's like she doesn't care about Amari. It's like everything that they went through that built them together, that brought them together, it's like she just doesn't have her back. And honestly, it was the worst thing I've ever read. Anytime Amari tried to speak up and tried to say, you know, maybe we could do it this way, let me just talk to my brother, we have like possible other options other than war, like Zili doesn't want to listen to it, and she really is not sticking up for Amari. It is quite horrible. I really hated it. I really struggled with this book, I will be honest, and a lot of that came down to the arc of Zeli. It just was awful. It was terrible. The only comparable thing I can give to you right now is Game of Thrones at the end, when Jaime Lannister like went through that whole thing, and then right at the end he U-turned, and it was like, are you kidding me? It's kind of like that level. Everything they've been through the first book that bonded them, that brought them together, everything they'd overcome in regards to like who Amari's dad was, all of that. And yeah, it is just completely U-turned in this book, and it really feels like Amari is just, she's on the outside once again. She's the outcast once again. No one wants to listen to her opinion. No one wants to even consider what she like has to offer and what she could offer. It's tough because I didn't rate this book 4 stars. I did. A lot of that I think has to do with the fact of for me, Amari really carried this book in sense of she was so much stronger. She was having to make tough decisions she didn't want to do. She was trying everything she could. And then the second reason I gave it such a high rating was the magic element. I'm not gonna lie, it was just so good to see it in its elements, see it being wielded, just all of it, learning more of Orisha's mythos, its background, everything like that. All of that was amazing. I just don't know what happened to Zili. I really don't, and it was absolutely horrible. I've spoken to a few people about this, and they agree it was just like, what the hell has happened? Like, it was like watching her just make dumb decision after dumb decision, and then she makes another massive U-turn at the end, and it's like, you know what, I'm so done with it. Ending wise, I am severely conflicted. I really am. I mean, Lord knows I want this third book. I have like gone into this trilogy, I want it to happen, I love everything about it. I am severely concerned it is gonna go down the sort of European white slavery route. Oh god, ow. And I'll be honest, I think that would seriously be doing this series a massive disservice, and it just seems really quite pointless. The whole point of this book series was the Magi regaining back their magic and taking back Orisha and building a place where, well, I say building a place where everyone is equal. That never really seemed like a goal of the Magi, so I don't really know what they plan to do with like regular humans. That is something I'm not 100% on. That was Amari's goal and Anand's goal. I don't know about Zeli and the rest of the magicals, but hey. Yeah, the idea of it was, yeah, these oppressed people overcoming that and, you know, fighting for their freedom, and unfortunately bloodshed coming. And I don't know if it goes the way of the European slavery route, which I'm really concerned about, and I've seen a lot of other people say that they feel like that's how the ending left off. And I mean, this isn't a spoiler thing. A lot of reviews I read all included that, and they weren't spoilery reviews. It seems to be a genuine concern of, is this really where this book is going to go? Because it just seems like they've lost their home in their kingdom, and now they're just going to get dropped somewhere else. And then part of me is like, how are you going to wrap that up in one last book? Like, are they gonna like, I don't know. I have so many questions, and really this book needs to come out now because I have a lot of questions rattling around and I'm very concerned. And if it's not going down the slavery route, then where the hell are they? Where the hell are they going? Because then that is even more exciting. This is the thing. If it ends off not going down the slavery route, it's a really exciting ending and it's like oh okay. But if it is going down that route, it's like a really, like, I feel like you've copped out. And I don't know, people may not agree with me, this could be a really unpopular opinion, but for me that's how it feels. I want you to finish what you started. I want you to fix what you did in this. I mean, at this stage I'd be quite happy if they just killed off Sally and introduced someone new. And yeah, also surprisingly, the brother Aaron, I think that was it, I mean the book's in my hand, I could just look, he still doesn't have his own point of view. I still find that a very weird thing, because it's not even like the brother is a side character. He is almost a main character. He's very vital in for Zelly, he's very vital for Amari, so it is really bizarre he doesn't have his own chapter. And I know maybe some people might say 4's too many, but I want to know what he's thinking this whole thing. I want to know what he's thinking in regards to his sister, I want to know what he's thinking in regards to Amari, the whole situation as a whole. Because in the first book, Zelly was very much like, my brother probably thinks this of me, you know, I'm a fuck up, I'm always making these mistakes, I run before I can walk, all this stuff. And she's always like so sure that he's just annoyed by her and annoyed by the fact that he has to like pick up her pieces, sort of thing. It's just very weird considering he's meant to be part of this bringing back magic journey. It just seems really bizarre to me that he doesn't have his own point of view. To me it just doesn't make sense. I really wanted to know his opinions in the first book, and then coming into the second book I really needed it even more, because you know, magic's back now, he's there with the magi. It's so strange that he doesn't have his own voice in this. It's quite disappointing actually, because it would have been really nice to have an outsider's point of view, because Amari, Zelly and Anan, they're very, very involved in what is happening in the decision making, in the councils, just all of that, like the really high tier levels of we go to war. It really would have been nice to have a point of view that wasn't from that, to actually know what someone else is feeling, to see what, like, because I assume he mingles with the other people in the camp, just stuff like that. It would have been really good. Oh lord, it's going. It would have been really good to see what he thoughts. That is it for today's review. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you managed to get through my voice completely failing me. That was so bad. Oh my god, I'm in for a bad day at work. I would love to know if you've read this book and your thoughts on it. Please hit me up in the comments. And yeah, is there any sign of a third book ever coming? If you enjoyed this video, then hit that like button if you wanna, and if you wanna subscribe, do that too and never miss a video. I hope you have a great weekend, and I hope you have a great week, and I will see you in the next one.